After last night's electoral victory, Donald Trump has just reshaped the map. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back in with a new video, and I hope everyone is having a great day. I'm certainly having a great day myself, and before we get into it, don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, and of course, join the channel today. Again, these are all great ways to support the daily content, but enough of the promotional stuff, let's get into it because Donald Trump will be the 47th president. Yep, it's official. No matter what happens in Arizona, Nevada, even in Alaska, even if by some miracle Donald Trump lost all three of those states, which he's not going to, he's going to win all three of them, even if something crazy like that happens, he already has more than 270 electoral votes. He's the next president. He's the president-elect. No matter what happens in these three states, it's over. He's won. But in my opinion, the story of last night wasn't just, oh, Trump won the Electoral College, which of course he did. He swept these swing states. He's going to end up with roughly 312 electoral votes. That's a big enough deal, but I would argue the story of last night was the realignment Trump has started. Now, you go state by state in places like Wisconsin, Michigan, and yeah, Trump won these states. Like Wisconsin, he won it by roughly a point. Michigan by a point and a half. Pennsylvania by a point. But when you talk about a realignment, you're talking about some huge shift from 2020, like we saw back in 2016. There was a big realignment in 2016. You know, Trump won a place like Wisconsin, becoming the first Republican in what, 40 years to win it? It was a big deal. But you look at the map right now, it's like, well, what changed? Like, yeah, he did better in the swing states, but this doesn't really look like a huge realignment. The realignment can actually be seen, not in the swing states outside of Arizona and Nevada, it can be seen in places like Florida. Look at the shift map. Just look at Miami-Dade. Trump won Miami-Dade by 11 points. It's won 19 points Republican from 2020. Look at Broward County, 13-point shift. Palm Beach, 12-point shift. Orange County, 9.5. You know, across the board in Florida, which was not a surprise because, well, everyone was saying that it's over for Democrats, at least anyone with a brain. They realized that, yeah, the state of Florida, it's gone for Democrats. There's no way they can win here except some Democrats actually thought they had a chance here, and, well, they got absolutely crushed. For crying out loud, they lost by 1.5 million votes. That's a 13-point defeat in Florida. That's a 10-point shift from just 2020. I mean, think about that. Just in 4 years, it went from Trump plus 3 to Trump plus 13. Yeah. But fine, you could argue, well, the state of Florida, it's been shifted Republican for years, and of course it went to Trump by 13 points. That's not really a good indicator of anything. Well, what about Texas? Democrats for like 10 years now have been claiming that they're going to win Texas in the future. It's become a Democrat stronghold. It's all over for the Republican Party in Texas. Well, guess what happened last night? Trump won Texas, and not just by a little bit. No. He won Texas by 14 percentage points. A margin of 1.6 million votes. That's roughly what Mitt Romney won it by back in 2012. Yeah, Donald Trump got Mitt Romney margins in Texas. Can we just say this idea of Blexus is dead? Like, does anyone really think that, oh, Democrats are going to win Texas now? How? Donald Trump, the one Republican everyone was saying was going to cost Republicans Texas, he won the state by 14 points. And I know Democrats are going to say, but the demographics in Texas are bad for Republicans because it's becoming more of a Hispanic state. Well, guess what? Trump won the Hispanic vote in Texas. And for those that don't believe me, look at the shift map in the Rio Grande Valley. Trump won places like Hidalgo, Starr, Cameron, just across the board. The southern part of Texas shifted like 20 points Republican. And it wasn't just that part of Texas shifting heavy to the right. It was nearly every single county. Look at Harris County. This is where Houston is. Harris only won the county by 5 points. For those that don't know, that's like an 8-point shift from 2020. Same thing with Dallas. Trump did 10 points better in Dallas. So it wasn't just one single county in Texas that shifted heavy to the right. It was a consistent trend, whether it was the southern part of the state, whether it was urban areas like Dallas or Houston, hell, even Austin, the county or Travis County, I should say, that's where Austin is. Democrats for years were saying, it's just going to keep getting more and more Democrat. It's getting larger and larger. It's all over for Trump. Well, guess what? It shifted Republican. Only by a little bit, but it shifted Republican by 6 points. And by the way, it wasn't just the urban areas. Even the suburbs, places like Hayes County, Williamson, Fort Bend, Tarrant. We all talk about the suburbs all the time. Trump did better in all these suburbs in Texas. The state that Democrats for years were saying was going to flip a Democrat. It was over for the GOP. Demographics are destiny. But now, not only is Trump winning Texas by 14 points, he's doing it by winning the majority of the Hispanic vote. That is an utter disaster for Democrats. You mathematically cannot win Texas as a Democrat if you're losing the Hispanic vote. You have to win Hispanics by like 20 points. And then you need a miracle with white voters. So it's not just Trump did slightly better with white voters and that's it. No, Trump ran it up across the board in the suburbs, in the urban cores, in the Rio Grande Valley. These are areas that for years Democrats were saying we're just going to trend Democrat. But it didn't happen in 2020, or 2024, excuse me. In fact, Trump has won Texas by 14 points. But fine, these are Republican states. You could argue maybe it's a fluke. Maybe these states, they're just, they are ran by Republicans. They lean to the right. Maybe they're not the best indicators. Okay, I guess that theory could work. Except there's one tiny problem that a lot of Democrats, they're not accepting right now. What the hell happened in the safe Democrat states? Just ignore Texas and Florida. Just ignore these Republican states because maybe they're a fluke. Maybe it's just a one-off occurrence. How can you explain Illinois? Look at Illinois right now. It's within 10 points. This is not a typo. Right now, as of November 6, 2024, and I know there's some votes outstanding in Chicago, which should make it a bit more Democrat, I get that. But right now, Donald Trump's within 10 points in Illinois. Within 10. And you look at the shift map in the state, it's a consistent trend. Even the suburbs of Illinois or Chicago that have been shifting Democrat for years now, well, Trump only lost them by a couple points. He did like 4 to 5 points better in the suburbs of Chicago. And downstate, he ran it up. I mean, these counties everyone thought were maxed out, but by some miracle, Trump did even better. And look at northwestern Illinois. Trump did even better in places like Warren County, a 15-point shift, Knox, 4-point shift, Stark, 4, Henry, 3, Whiteside, 6. It's a consistent trend across the board. This is not a Republican state. This is a safe Democrat state, at least on paper. Look at places like California. California right now is within 20 points. Now, to be fair, there are a lot of votes outstanding in places like San Francisco, LA. I get that. But there's a good chance that at the end of the day, all right, when all the votes are counted, California is within 20 points. For those that don't remember, just 2 to 3 or 4 to 8 years ago, Trump was losing California by like 30 to 35 points. He was getting crushed here. Yet in California, and I know there's a lot of Democrat votes outstanding, I get that, but it looks like right now, Trump is going to be within 20 points in California. But still, he lost it by a landslide margin. You could argue, okay, same thing with Illinois, like, yeah, he got it within 10, but he still lost it by a good amount. Well, look at New Jersey. New Jersey was the biggest surprise of last night. I can't think of a single person that said New Jersey was going to have this big of a shift to the right. Now, when I say a shift to the right, you might think, oh, a 4 to 5 point shift, which, okay, I can see that happening. New Jersey right now is within 5 points. New Jersey. That's a 10 to 12 point shift in the state. That is not a misquote. And I know there's votes outstanding we don't know right now, but there's a good chance when everything's counted, New Jersey is within 5 percentage points. Are you noticing a trend here? Trump absolutely ran it up in the Democrat states everywhere. It wasn't just one state like, Illinois. It was California. Hell, the entirety of the Northeast, New Jersey, Maryland, Delaware, Virginia, Minnesota. Yeah, Tim Walz, despite being the VP, didn't help Harris whatsoever. Harris ran 2 to 3 points behind Biden in Minnesota. Oregon to be determined. Washington to be determined. Colorado shifted 3 points Republican. New Mexico is within 10. So the question is, what's causing this? Because if it was just one state, you could say, oh, that's just a fluke. Maybe that's just a one-off occurrence. But when it's nearly every single Democrat state, including a bunch of Republican states, by the way, when it's nearly all of them showing the same trends, that's not just a fluke. That's a consistent trend. I would argue what happened last night was Trump built a brand new coalition of working class voters, not just white working class voters, just working class voters in general. And the biggest trend came from non-white working class voters, which when you look at the results last night, it explains a lot. The biggest shifts, not everywhere, but just in general, the biggest shifts came from non-white working class areas. Places like California, Nevada, Arizona, Texas, Florida, even New Jersey, they have large populations of non-white working class voters. And these states had the biggest shifts towards Trump. And you compare these states to, say, Wisconsin. Wisconsin's a very working class state, but it only shifted 2 points Republican. The difference is, Wisconsin is a much more white working class state. And yeah, they shifted towards Trump, but nowhere near as much as, say, these voters in Arizona, Nevada, Georgia. Even Michigan, which is right next to Wisconsin, had a larger shift to the right. And you could argue that's because they have a larger non-white population than Wisconsin. So Trump is doing something that no other Republican has done. And they've been trying for years to build this multiracial coalition. Well, guess what? Trump has done it. And not just with white voters and that's it. No, he's doing it with white voters, Hispanics, African Americans, Muslims, Catholics. It doesn't really matter. Anyone's allowed in this movement. And I really believe if the Republican Party embraces this new coalition, which they should, this is just common sense. It's clear. This coalition works. Of course, there needs to be some, some tinkering with it. I get that. Places like Wisconsin, they should be way more Republican than just R+1. But this is a good starting point. If the Republican Party embraces this new multiracial coalition, the Democrat Party's in deep shit. Because we're not just talking about states like Michigan and Pennsylvania being competitive. Democrats want to defend New Jersey, New Mexico, Virginia, Minnesota. Hell, maybe something crazy happens down the line in New York. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but last night might have been an indicator for the future. If the Republican Party embraces this new coalition, which I think they will now because it works, there's a good chance that the Republican Party could expand the map. They could win states that never in a million years did anyone think they could win. And now, it's secured places like Texas. Everyone was doing on Texas for years now, but do you think Harris or any other Democrat could win Texas now? She lost it by 14 points. She lost Texas by 14 points. Trump won the Hispanic vote. I believe he even won the Asian vote. So much for that idea that, oh, wait, we're going to win Texas because of demographics. No, you're not. In fact, if Republicans continue doing better with Hispanic voters, Texas might trend even more to the right. Now, does this mean J.D. Vance or whoever the nominee is in 2028, does this mean that they're going to for sure win Texas by 30? No, I'm not saying that at all. All I'm saying is there's a chance for the Republican Party to expand the map to states that I didn't think was even possible. Places like New Jersey, New York, even places like Connecticut and Rhode Island. With the results last night, they might have something cooking here. Not saying they for sure do, but it's a consistent trend. It's just crazy to think that states like New Mexico and Virginia, they might be up for grabs in 2028 if the Republican Party is smart about this. And I hope they are, because it's clear that this is the way to go. Trump became the first Republican since Bush to win the popular vote. And more than likely, he's going to win the popular vote by 2 to 3 points. Of course, there's some votes outstanding in California, so we'll see. But Trump's got the popular vote. He won the swing states, and he's doing way better in places that no one thought was even possible. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.